and the spirit of Ultimate Warrior will run forever!
Here, and it is Saturday, and you know what that means. It's time for all the toy news, action figure news of the week that interested me, that hopefully interests you in a busy week of toy news this week. A little bit of this, a little bit of that, and guess what? A little bit of the other as well. We're going to dive into all of it here in a second, but first, of course, got to get some things out of the way, as we always do at the top of the toy news video of the week. Of course, Patreon, we're in the month of October Patreon giveaway. Andre the Giant Ultimate Edition. So check out the old Patreon if you want to get your chance at this one over there on the Patreon. This week I will be filming the monthly Q&A over on the Patreon, so make sure you check that out this week, and tons of content. I have been a traveling man. I've been everywhere. I've been all over the place. I'm actually leaving here. I am headed to Chicago. I will be in Chicago this weekend for the big Kane County Toy Show. Check out that. Hopefully I can grab some Pequod's Pizza while I'm in Chicago area. We'll see what happens with that one. I'll be in Chicago, come back Sunday night, spend the night at my house, get back up, head to the St. Louis area, and then Springfield, Illinois. Oh, Springfield, Illinois. Beautiful this time of year. And I'll be there next week for work, then I'll come back, and then I'm gone again. I'm a man all over the place, but I have been knocking out a ton of reviews late at night during the week this week because of all my travels and stuff. So Patreon members, a ton of videos over on Patreon, probably about 4 weeks worth of new videos over on Patreon. Of course, we got both YouTube channels firing hard right now. Kyle Peterson, the one you're watching right now, and then the 2.0 channel over there. 2.0 channel is going to have streams there. Once my work travels die down here in a couple of weeks, we're going to do a weekly stream over there. A few other surprises to come, maybe even a nod to those surprises in the weekly purchases tomorrow, so stay tuned for that as well. But let's dive into this toy news here. Let's do it, and hey, if you're at the Kane County Toy Show, come say hi. Hopefully there's deals aplenty. I'm not really looking for stuff, but you never know what you might find. So more on that, and then the next weekend there's another toy show I'll be at, so more on that next week in the Toy News Weekly Purchases. So now, let's really start the toy news. And the worst kept secret going around, I think we first heard word of this literally a year ago. Then a couple of weeks ago at New York Toy Fair, there was a little bit of a tease, and now, bam, it all threw up on us this week. Here it is, of course, official. The He-Man Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle crossover event of a lifetime. Should be an interesting one here, and a lot to really unpack and a lot to really digest on this line. Now, you guys know I collect He-Man, I collect Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. It's not a bad day at the office collecting both of those. But do they work together? That's the million-dollar question. And of course, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles never met a property they didn't like. Be it Power Rangers, wrestling, Ghostbusters, there's probably about 100 more I just can't think of off the top of my head, but now He-Man is added to the mix. And one question I'll ask you guys, and let me know in the comments. To me, okay, this is on more He-Man style card. I think we all agree that. It is Mattel property after all. And it is also He-Man style figures from the Origins line, things like that. So it's He-Man with a little turtle influence. But if it was the other way around, would you be in on this line? If it was He-Man figures coming over to Playmates or something, as, you know, we see the Stranger Things crossover with Turtles over at Playmates. Let's say it was He-Man coming over to Playmates. Would you be all in on this one? And I have to think, taking that big step back, I probably would, because you guys know I'm a serious collector. Oh, I'm serious. But I'd probably buy both. I probably would. But I think the average fan might jump out at that point, because I don't think the Playmates turtle figures that are released right now, the newer ones, have kind of that, they don't resonate like He-Man figures possibly do. And I think the crossover mix that Mattel is doing feels a little bit more He-Man to get the He-Man people in. I don't know. You could really dissect it any which way, but loose. Once again, like a young Clint Eastwood. But I'm not sure. I'm not sure what to think, and I'm still a little mixed bag on this. I'm all in. I'm going to buy them. I'm just going to see how they are in hand, and I guess let's go through a few of these figures here that were released this week. So we got little glamour shots, and then by the end of this week, we saw full-on carded images, which I thought was pretty cool as well. But it looks like, now here's one issue I had with this set right off the bat, is I didn't know immediately, okay, who is this supposed to be and what crossover is it, you know? I didn't figure it out right away. Was it Becky Lynch-Tila crossover? That was pretty easy to figure out. But some of these, I still kind of scratch my head on. But let's break it down a little bit. We got Leonardo, of course, the leader of the Ninja Turtles. He is paired up as He-Man. So it's like He-Man, Leonardo going on there. So makes a little bit of sense to me here. He's got the blades and stuff, of course, you know, the power of Grayskull, all that stuff compels him. I'm sure that makes a lot of sense. Now, He-Man was a confusing one to me. I was very confused. What is this mutant He-Man? Is he good? Is he bad? What does this have to do with Turtles? I guess Mutant Jin getting into He-Man made him kind of evil per the back of the card that we saw later in the week. So a little bit iffy right there. I don't know what to think about it. It almost feels like a new He-Man character. I don't know. You guys shout out and let me know your thoughts on that one. But that one didn't jump out right away like, oh, I know what this is. It's He-Man with what? Splinter or Shredder because it's purple? I was just kind of confused. I went back and forth on that one. I'm still very confused on my boy Man-at-Arms. What is exactly he supposed to be? He's kind of got turtle shells going on. Is he a crossover of a turtle? I'm confused. What is Man-at-Arms supposed to be exactly? But on the flip side of that, Donatello as Man-at-Arms knew immediately who Donatello was supposed to be. So that worked for me. I had no issues with that. But the Man-at-Arms slash something, very confusing. I'm not exactly sure what's going on there. We also saw Krang, and it looks like they're getting some reuse from the Andre the Giant body, making a lot of sense, making it one of the Masters Universe giants there, Titus or something like that. I think that's who it is. But they're making that giant one. Is this a deluxe figure? That's my guess. It'll probably be a deluxe one, kind of like we see the Hordax, the King Hisses, things like that. But that's an interesting idea. A giant Krang, a giant, it makes sense. I think that math does check out. Trapjaw, a very cool one, an interesting one though, because you don't think of Mousers as like characters. I mean, they are, but they aren't. They're little robot things. But I like what they're doing there, mixing those two together. I think that works really, really good. So I'm here for that. And I love that you can pull the Mouser off the arm, pull it off his belt, and you can create a Mouser if you really need to. A lot of use going on right there. I think that really does work for Trapjaw. So I felt like that was kind of very inventive right there for that crossover one. So a very interesting one. I just don't know how it's going to resonate. I don't know how it'll go. We've seen a lot of Turtle crossover lines where they've went to the Rosses, the TJ Maxxes. They've went to clearance. We saw it with the WWE. We see it with Ghostbusters, Cobra Kai, Stranger Things. All the ones pretty much do. It's like, I don't know if it's too much. I'm not exactly sure what's going on. But I do know a lot of the He-Man origin fans out there that collect that stuff. They will buy these. They love the customization they can do with some of these figures. They can change things around. So I do think it'll have a pretty hot start. It's just interesting to see how deep will this line go. Will it go on for years? Is it a 1 or 2 set and done thing? Is it going to be everywhere at retail? Will it be a Walmart exclusive, Mattel Creations exclusive, Target exclusive? Who knows where a lot of this stuff could end up going. It is interesting. It does breathe life into 2 properties, and at the end of the day, we always put our business hat on. We think about it. He-Man buyers, Turtle buyers, they're 2 strong buyers right now. You put them together, can you get crossover? Can you get crossover? Mattel knows you're not going to get all the Turtle fans. You're not going to get all the He-Man fans, but can you get some fans? Can you get some lapsed fans? Can you get some fans that think it's cool? Can you end up getting new people buying new toys and really, at the end of the day, buying more toys? And that's what it is about at the end of the day. It is a business, as we always say. So an interesting one I'm sure we'll talk a lot more about in the future here on the channel, so we'll stay tuned to that. But I'm still kind of up in the air. I'm going to buy the first series, going to check them out, going to review them. I just don't know exactly how I feel about these quite yet. I'm excited, but also just kind of a little timid about it. I don't know. It's a weird feeling. I'm just not sure if it'll work. I'll know a lot more once it gets into my hands here at the table. Stay tuned for that. Hopefully, maybe 2024, early 2024, maybe late end of this year. We'll see what happens right there. But now how about some miscellaneous toy news? And then we'll get into some wrestling, pretty wrestling heavy on the back half of this video. Mezco 112, I've been buying Destro. I got the Destro figure. Got a few of the other ones pre-ordered. I guess I'm going down this slippery slope line here, but they did announce Duke officially. We saw him already a few different times, but he is up for pre-order at the Entertainment Earths of the world. Use discount code Kyle, save yourself 10% on in-stock items, 79 or more. Does ship free. There you go. And then, of course, Big Bad Toy Store, link in the description below. You can pick them up at either of those places. Should be an interesting one. We'll see. We'll see how it is. Mondo this week. Oh, Mondo, the bane of my wallet's existence. But Mondo came out with something very, very cool that I really wanted to pick up. It is the Werewolf by Night. One of 300. They only made 300 of these. Very cool. You know me, I love a hairy bipedal creature. I love a werewolf. I did plan to buy this. However, I had a meeting at work that popped up out of the blue. Had to prepare, got on the meeting, all that kind of stuff. And during that time frame, totally spaced off the pre-order. And I think it sold out within an hour at least. Had to have been because it went on sale. Meeting was over and I remembered, got on there, said sold out. So you snooze, you lose. You work your day job. That's what happens. You miss out on stuff. So Werewolf by Night not coming my way. I guess we won't be unboxing it on the channel. This is probably the last time we'll ever talk about it. Oh, hard times, hard times. But if you got it, good for you. Shout out to you out there. A little crowdfunding. We're getting dangerously close to the end. Of course, Super 7 Mothership. We just got a couple of days left for the early backer parachute. Doesn't seem like it's going to hit that. As we sit right now, we're at 1,180 backers. 4,000 needed by early December. You know what Jerry Reed always says? We've got a long way to go and a short time to get there. And Jerry's right, we got a long way to go. And as we see with Super 7, Super 7 takes your money immediately, where Giant Man, we're going to talk about in a little bit, he doesn't take your money until it funds. So there is some of that. I think Super 7 will have a big push at the very end because people wait until the last minute. They don't want people sitting on their money. You got to imagine this will be a year, 14 months after it ends till it's in hand. Might as well close that gap as soon as possible. Wait to the last minute. I understand that totally. Nobody wants free interest loans on them, things like that. So I get it. I understand it. We'll see. I do think that will have a good jump as we get closer, but I'm not sure. Will it hit the 4,000? I got to think it's going to be pretty darn close there. We saw with the Cat Slayer, just one random like Saturday or Sunday, they had a huge jump because it was a bunch of international purchasers. I don't know if that's been in here already, but we should see a little jump from that. Then the last minute jump, we'll see where the mothership goes here, and we'll keep eyes on it every single week. Now we're speaking of our other friend, and you know what? Now we're going to speak of our other friend, and you know what Rob Halford always says?
Message from Rob Halford of Judas Priest.
Step on the red, cross on the green, never take a ride in a stranger's machine, and always make sure you're burning on turbo power.
And Rob Halford, you know Rob, he's always right for the most part. Shout out Judas Priest, new album coming, man. I'm here for that at the end of the day. But I don't know, do we get in this Stranger's Machine? I don't know if we do because we're dangerously close to the end of this. It looks like Monday, early next week, is the official end of Giant Man. As of right now, 6,586 of the 10,000 needed. Oh boy, it's going to be down to the absolute wire, and I don't know what happens if this does not fund from Hasbro. Nobody wanted the car, everybody said, and everybody, I'm generalizing, everybody said they want giant figures. Well, here's a giant man, and it fits in with the Avengers theme, all that kind of stuff. And it's not looking good at this moment. But we'll see. A last-minute surge could happen. We'll see what happens there. But I'm not exactly sure where it's going. Janet Van Dyne was announced this week, Marvel Legends. I don't know if they're kind of putting that out there. I think a lot of people said, hey, they should throw that in with Giant Man. It'll get people to fund. That's not the case. It's coming next year. So they're letting us know early that, hey, your Giant Man's not going to be lonely. There's going to be surrounding characters around him. So if you want him, you're going to want all that stuff together. A good ploy by Hasbro there. I understand that business tactic, but I don't know. It'll be interesting, and we'll talk about it next week in the toy news. If Hasbro takes the L on this one, I don't know what that means. They're obviously not resonating with the customer, and that's Business 101. You got to be in tune, in sync with what your customer wants, within reason, of course. But if Giant Man takes the L, man, I don't know. I think at this point, maybe crowdfunding just doesn't work for the Marvel Legends team. They've just had it all. There's nothing they really, really want that they're going to shell out for. And we'll see where that ends up going. But if I was Hasbro and they do take an L on this one, I'd probably take a year off. That's exactly what I'd do. Not sure if that's in the cards for them, of course, but something's not working. Obviously, something's not working, and they got to go back to the drawing board and figure it out. And that's what they're going to have to do. So more to come on that very, very soon. But you know what the Von Erichs always say?
Pizza out, it's pizza in. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I don't know why I threw that in there, just because I got Pequod's Pizza on the mind. I'm going to Pequod's. Got to go to Pequod's. I'm going to be there this weekend, Chicago area. Oh, Pequod's, my favorite, my favorite. So there you go. Shout out to Pequod's. There it is. All right, we continue on here. We got McFarlane Store Joker exclusive went up last weekend. Todd and his team, they don't take days off. No days off over there. Man after my own heart. Always hustling, always working. And that's exactly what Todd McFarlane's doing. Absolutely wild. Absolutely wild. Another Joker. Do I need it? No. Did I buy it? Yes. I'm all in on these Jokers. Ended up pulling the trigger. It's a double-headed Joker, so I could see people saying, I need 3 of these. 1 on card, 1 with each head. I'm not that crazy. I just pulled the trigger on 1. It's always tough with those McFarlane store exclusives. If it's regular store stuff, you're like, yeah, I'll wait. Maybe I'll be on the fence, but I'll find it at retail. You snooze or lose on this one. I don't want to be losing. I don't want to be snoozing either. I missed that Dick Grayson Robin during a meeting way back when. It still haunts my dreams at night. So didn't want to miss out on this Joker, so I did pull the trigger on the Joker. Now that's the miscellaneous. Now we're getting into some wrestling news, some interesting stuff. We did see this week the Mick Foley 3-pack ringside collectible exclusive. Looks like that's been delayed till January 2024. Sounds like some packaging changes with that one. Sounds like Mick Foley was involved, wanted to be able to sign all 3, which I think is really cool. I plan on getting that done when that figure does come. I think it'd be awesome to have Mick Foley 3 autographs of the 3 faces. I just wish for a 3 faces of Foley pack, it would have been a 3 ultimates. 3 key ultimates that really look like Mick Foley and all of his personas. I think that would have been the way to go. I love this 3-pack, but it's just deeper cuts than maybe some of us do want. But an ultimate 3-pack would have been an absolute game changer. But it's not happening, at least not yet. You never know in the future. We'll see what happens there. A lot of people, I get a lot of messages as well in social media stuff. What's up with the Coliseum collection? Well, I don't know. I don't work for Mattel. But from what I've seen Steve Ogier, of course, good brother from Mattel over there, say, it doesn't really affect a whole lot. It has been delayed, but as far as when we would get it in hand, there's been no delay. So really, as Tom Petty always told me, and of course, Tom sat right over there, and I sat on his lap as a little boy, and he said, Kyle, the waiting, the hardest part, trust me. And then he wrote a song about it. That could have been just totally made up. Sounds good, though, doesn't it? But the Coliseum collection was what Steve said is, hey, if you would have ordered 2 weeks ago or whatever, you'd just be, they'd have your money, and you'd be sitting waiting, doing the Tom Petty. However, now, let's say it goes up for sale November 15th. Guess what? It goes for sale. Maybe it ships immediately. Maybe it's a 1 or 2 week. They have your money less time. I'm okay with that. I am totally fine with that. If it's not ready for immediate shipping, I don't want them sitting on my money. So this works out, and it sounds like there's no delay on our end, anything. The only delay is Hasbro's not making interest on our money right now. So not that bad of a deal, if you ask me right now, for the Coliseum collection. We'll see what happens. We'll see, and I'll, of course, talk about it when we do get a firm date on the toy news. So stay tuned for that in the future. How about a little big rubber guy? And you guys know I love a rubber guy. Of course I do. A big rubber guy, even better. But we got big rubber guys, British Bulldogs. Yes, you heard me right. Coming to the big rubber guys there. Of course, Dynamite Kid, Davey Boy Smith, and it looks like we even get Matilda with them. I believe that'll be dropping around Black Friday, so stay tuned. More info as that does come there. But very cool. I love the British Bulldogs. Of course, we already had British Bulldogs in the old LJN days, and I know some people kind of say, well, why don't we have new characters, new stuff? Well, you got to mix some of that in. I get that. I understand that. But also, you need some nods to the past. Let's improve upon the past in some instances. And that's where the British Bulldogs are going. And I'm pretty sure this line isn't like, well, we're only making 10 figures and calling it quits. It's not that. They want this line to go on as long as possible. They're going to get everybody they hope they can get and sign to this. So stay tuned to all that. And speaking of stuff that's needed to be signed upon, send the money over right now to Andre the Giants and Macho Man. Dangerously Close. Got about a week left to pre-order those or forever hold your peace. So those are up for pre-order right now. Everybody needs a little big rubber, guys, and I like it. You guys know I grew up as the LJN, so this is right in my wheelhouse here. It's not for everybody, but that's kind of the way it does go at the end of the day. So there it is right there. We did hear this week as well, Bruno Sammartino going back to Mattel. He was supposed to be in the Greatest Hits Legends line. For whatever reason, that was canceled and is being moved to the main line in 2024. Really interesting because he was going to be a online only from Target, much like DDP Brutus Beefcake a couple of years ago. What is time, as we say. So very interesting there to mix it around with Bruno. How will Bruno do in a regular Elite line? I'm not exactly sure. We'll see what happens with that one. So if you're looking for Bruno, unfortunately, and that was one of the ones I was looking forward to the most out of that line because those trunks freshened him up. They really did. We'll see where that goes from there. So there it is on that front. Now we turn our attention to Zombie Sailor toys. And yes, I've got a lot of messages. Kyle, when are you going to review those? I will get to them. I will get to them. It's just taking me forever. I've got a lot of stuff to unbox. It's weird how all these companies kind of sent everything all at once. Hasbro's pre-orders come in. Mattel pre-orders come in. Some of the third-party stuff coming in. I've just really had a ton of toys come the last couple of weeks. Only so many times to unbox it. Got 2 channels going on, plus a very busy work life, plus some kids that need to see me every once in a while. They don't want to see me. Who are we fooling? They don't want to see dear old dad. But I try to check in with them, see what they're up to, try to eat some pizza with them if I can. But I've been very busy, but I will get to the Zombie Sailors. Like I said, I'm leaving for Chicago this weekend, get back, and then I leave for a couple days. Hopefully mid next week I'll start unboxing them. They'll go up on Patreon, but we'll get to them. We always will. We got a ton of Mattel Elites to get to as well. The last couple of weeks between Survivor Series, Royal Rumble, Top Picks, Elite 105. There's been a lot of stuff coming out lately on top of all the He-Man stuff, the Marvel Legends stuff. Oh my gosh, what a time to be alive. Truly, what a time to be alive. And I'm hoping things will go a little dormant. Let me catch my breath a little bit here in the next couple of weeks, but stay tuned to that. But Zombie Sailor Toys officially did solicit some pictures for the big cat, the former big cat, I guess. Mr. Hughes, technically, right here. But Mr. Hughes got the fedora, got the urn ready to go. You can pair it with your Taker figure if you need to. A lot of people looking for this one, I have a feeling. Maybe I walk that back a little bit. I think there are people who'll buy it. There's a lot of people that are buying all the zombie figures. But to say that he has the name value of, Matt Cardona, Brian Myers, or even the Bruiser Brodies of the world, maybe not the same. But some people might want this to pair up with Undertaker. We'll see what happens there. But Zombie Sailor's got a lot of stuff going. Like I said, I'll be unboxing all those figures. We got Bastion Booger right around the corner. Bruce Lee is coming. Oh, Bruce Lee. And then we got some more pre-orders, things like that coming here for Black Friday. So there's a lot going on in the Zombie Sailor camp. We'll see how all that shakes out. KWK, we talk about them. You got just a couple of weeks, less than a week, a little over a week, maybe 10 days, something like that. What is time? What is days? Who knows? But we do got the Comic Kid as the October pre-order. So if you're looking for your Comic Kid figure, head over to KWK. Got to pick those up as well. We're not done there. Now the big one here this week is old Grapplers and Gimmicks Hastel Toys coming in hot this week. I didn't watch it yet, but he was on Sam Roberts' YouTube channel or something like that. But he had an interview over there. That's huge for him. And a lot of figures coming out from him as we've seen. We unboxed Men on a Mission just recently here on the channel. Check out that video. But some interesting announcements this week. Just yesterday as I'm filming this today, I guess. Duke the Dumpster Droese and the Carlito both went up for pre-order there. So if you want those, head over to pick those ones up. But he did tease some new figures coming, some interesting stuff coming. We saw Ray Rougeau in his announcer getup. I'm not exactly sure what's up with that. Of course, Ray Rougeau, a Canadian announcer, after he hung up the boots, of course, of the famed Rougeau brothers. Man, I'm here for the Rougeau brothers all day long. And I think he said something like, you got to imagine what is coming in the future. So I have to fully expect we're going to get the Rougeau brothers. That should be a big one. That's one of the biggest gaps in wrestling figure history. LJN, Hasbro, Classic Superstars, Mattel, not getting the Rougeau brothers, just unacceptable. Unacceptable. And maybe Grapplers and Gimmicks are going to come through, but it looks like we're getting Ray Rougeau, but we're getting another tag team with Jock, and of course the current day PCO, it is the Quebecers. So we are getting the Quebecers tag team from them. So that might excite some people. I'd go off against your Steiner brothers. I always loved the Quebecers Steiner brothers WWE, WWF matches when I was a kid. I always enjoyed those ones. Now I can recreate them at home. So how about that? But very interesting because I do catch a little bit of a whiff of, dare I say, a conspiracy.
You ever wonder if they're watching your every move? Cell phones, internet, surveillance. Think about it.
Not exactly sure what's going on here with the Grapplers and Gimmicks because we do remember Power Town Wrestling, our old friends Power Town, man, Power Town. I love the Power Town Series 1. They're barking up the right tree with me. I just think we got way too big of a gap between Power Town Series 1 and Series 2. They had so much momentum going that it all just kind of died away, and I almost feel like it might be close to starting over when the time comes for pre-order 2, and then you got to wait for pre-order 2 to come to you. How long? 4, 6, 8, a year? Not sure how many months that'll take. Really a lot of forward momentum lost with Power Town with some of the delays here. We do know Matt and Brian will come. That should hopefully help them out a little bit. But one thing about Power Town is they said they signed all these wrestlers, and we know, and we joked about it even, that they signed the whole Rougeau family all the way back to the old country. They signed the whole family to deals. In Power Town, exclusive deals, supposedly. So I don't know how Grappler and Gimmicks is getting the Rougeau brothers involved here. I'm not sure if there's a licensing deal via Power Town, possibly. There could be a lot going on with that one. I wouldn't think old Mitch over there at Hastel Toys would try to break some legalities. I would hope not, because nobody wants legal trouble, that's for sure. I get threatened to be sued like once a week. It's really fun. I'm like, okay, sue me. Sue me. That's what happens. It's a crazy thing in the work world. You guys have been there. You guys have jobs. You know what it's like. But it happens. But it'll be interesting what happens with Powertown and all that. But man, I'm here. Jacques, Raymond Rougeau. Give me everybody from the Rougeaus, the Quebecers, all that kind of stuff. So I did find that to be very, very interesting. I also found it interesting, Hastel Toys, of course, Grappler Gimmicks. They're going to more of the Mattel carding system, it looks like, with the removable trays and that kind of stuff. I don't know. I'm not a big fan of that. We've seen it with Mythic Legions. We've seen it a few other times. It's one of those things where people can say, oh, it's mint on card. Trust me, it's mint. Well, they had it on display. They played with it for 2 years. They just kept the packaging, put it back in. I know he did say, hey, I got a little sticker going on there, so you will know if it's been opened or not. But we know things can be fixed. Things can be remade. Things can be doctored in photos, things like that. So I don't know. I'm not a huge wild about it with the Mattel Retros either. Coliseum Collection is okay for whatever reason. It's weird how you justify some things and not others. I don't know. Maybe it's because Coliseum Collection started out that way. Maybe that's why I'm okay with it, where Mattel Retros adopted it later. Same thing with Grappler and Gimmicks. They adopted it later, so it doesn't feel as uniform. I don't know. Collector brain. You guys know what it's about. But we'll see where that ends up going. It sounds like that is the future. And I think that's because of the Mabel figure being so heavy, falling off the card, things like that. So we'll see. We'll see where that does go. And then right before I started filming this video, we got some promo images of Kurt Fuller. Oh, yes, from Fuller House, that great show. No, it wasn't that one. It was Kurt Fuller from No Holds Barred, of course, and many other videos and movies and TV shows, and he's been all over the place. Really one of those guys, you don't know his name, but you definitely know his face. Been in a million different things. However, I'm not sure if I know his face in this action figure either. Got to see better images, got to see some of that kind of stuff, but I don't know. It's supposed to scale with our Elites, our Jazzwares figures, things like that. It almost looks like a Marvel Legends style body where, yeah, it kind of works, but maybe not completely. And I'm not sure if I really get the feel of Kurt Fuller from this figure. So you guys will have to sound off in the comments down below. I do like the idea of picking this one up to have with Zeus and Hogan. I think it looks like a cool thing. But I just don't know if it looks like it even belongs with those two figures. It just doesn't seem. It feels truly like something from a foreign line that was put into that is how it'll feel. And it's supposed to kind of scale and be in that world. It's going to be, I was hoping it would be close. I didn't think it would ever be perfect, but this feels just a little too far away. But like I said, I need to see more images, more than the promo picture we saw. We'll see how it shakes out. But an interesting one here from Grapplers and Gimmicks. But man, I'm here for Elite style figures. We know Zombie dangled those carrots and took those carrots away. Hopefully we get pre-orders on those fairly soon as well. But we'll see what Hastel Toys and Grapplers and Gimmicks can come up with as far as Kurt Fuller goes. So there you go. But that looks to be it. That is the toy news of the week this week. A very busy week, of course. Now we got to turn our attention to album of the week, or should we call it the EP of the week? I've been a busy guy. Didn't have a lot of time to listen to stuff this week, but I did make time for my old friend Ringo Starr, old Richard Starkey. I'm a big Beatles guy. A lot of people don't know that about me. I really cut my teeth on the Beatles, and I've heard everything Beatles. I mean, all the bootlegs, live shows. I mean, you wouldn't believe how deep I went into that in my teen years as far as bootleg CDs, bootleg albums, bootleg VHSs, all the kind of stuff, on top of all the officially released Beatles stuff. But then I took it one step further. I did own it one time. I guess I technically own it, but all the George Harrison, Paul McCartney, Ringo Starr, and John Lennon albums, surrounding albums, anything they did. If they were part of John Lennon, part of the Rolling Stones Rock and Roll Circus, I had that. I've listened to all that stuff. Every single solo album from every single Beatle ever. Oh, I'm deep. Live shows, you name it. Deep. I'm pretty versed on all that kind of stuff. But Ringo's got a new EP called Rewind Forward, and I had to check it out. Only a few songs on there, not a full album. And it really is Ringo in 2023 paint by numbers. It's not terrible. It's not going to light the world up. It's not going to disarm Taylor Swift from her perch. It's not going to do anything like that. But if you like Ringo, modern day Ringo, it's pretty good. Paul McCartney, as usual, helped him with a song on there. Nothing just earth-shattering. It's not the Ringo album. It's not a Bucco of Blues album, which isn't really that good either. Goodnight Vienna. If you're going to listen to a Ringo album, Goodnight Vienna is a good one to check out. But I wouldn't put it up there with any of that kind of stuff. It just kind of feels like Ringo paint by numbers. 4 songs of Ringo, better than no songs of Ringo. and that's going to be the album of the week this week. So there it is. What's your album of the week, and what's your thoughts on all this toy news? Be interested to hear your thoughts on the He-Man Turtle crossover especially. Should be a very, very interesting set. I don't know. We'll see what happens with all that. But you guys let me know. Sound off in the comments down below. Of course, you made it this far. Don't forget to like this video. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Turn on the old notification bells. We got videos every single day, and then some. And of course, Patreon, your best way to support the channel. Get early access to videos from both YouTube channels. So check out the Patreon, enter into the old Andre the Giant, and all kinds of fun stuff coming to the Patreon as well. Don't forget Pro Wrestling Tees, another place to support the channel. And don't forget social media, SirPaul64 on the X, _Kyle_Peterson on Threads and on Instagram. So for the toy news of the week, you know what I'm doing? I'm rocking and rolling, strutting and strolling my way to Chicago and the Kane County Toy Show.